Ready on the back end?
Covered in hairstyles.
Hey, Pastor, where's your ding ding?
We're not ready. Son of a... Get you guys all hyped up and then...
See, that's what I'm
Pumped up, ready to go.
You used to have a nice bell like
Cooling off. Gotta go one more time.
Who's ever slapped the table?
All
Or just
cuts
yell at the table.
all cuts of within a range of 28 millimeters. We pick different haircuts. One standard deviation is 14 millimeters. You cannot go there from the normal.
Do standard deviation in chemistry?
Yes. No.
And Friday? What do you do physics?
No.
Would you do it?
AP Stat.
I take that next year.
Literally the only class.
You're taking that next year, right?
Yep.
Oh, we have class together.
It'll be awesome.
What are you talking about? I'm like on par with Camden and Mario.
Oh,
That's not saying
now
much.
it's official.
Is that DMV?
Okay, I guess we are ready. All right, this is it. Don't screw up tonight, anybody.
But no pressure.
I was talking to my people, not you guys. You're on your own. All right, here we go. Welcome to Academic Challenge. My name is Jim Gifford, your host and moderator, and today we have reached the finals of our single elimination tournament here for Academic Challenge 2014. Our contestants tonight are St. Joe and Berrien Springs. Academic Challenge features a scholastic competition involving high schools from Berrien, Cass, and Van Buren counties, and is sponsored by Southwestern Michigan College, Lake Michigan College, Western Michigan University Southwest, and by Chemical Bank. Let's meet the teams. First, from Berrien Springs, we have
Christian Billman.
Camden Roth.
Mari Henderson.
Joseph Chi.
welcome one and all. And from St. Joe, we have
Trevor Greisinger, Jr.
Patrick Fisher, sophomore.
Fangbo Yen, junior.
Julia Spiegel, Jr.
Trevor. You're the captain. Introduce your coach, please, from St. Joe.
Our coach is Gary Etter.
And Camden, the captain from Berrien Springs, your coach.
Our coach is Miss Virginia Shum. Mrs.
We thank you all for coming. Here are the basic rules. They have not changed over the course of the tournament. During the first and second halves, we announce the value of each question before it's asked. When you press your button, you must wait to be recognized. If you do not, you'll get one warning. Beyond that, your answer will be disallowed and the competition will be able to take the question. There is no consultation in these first and second halves. There will be in the 60-second round. More on that later. I'll be your scorekeeper and co-judge, our other co-judge, and the man who will be asking the questions one more time tonight, Bill Klein. Is everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
Bill, it is all yours then.
All right, March Madness. Let's go for 20 points. His touring group exhibited a Russian spirit, but never performed in Russia. It broke up after Daglihev's death. Can you name it?
Camden, Berrien Springs.
Van Halen.
Incorrect.
Guessing that is wrong, but say Joe, take a shot at it. 5 seconds.
The Ballet Russe. For 5 points. He has sounded forth the trumpet that shall never call retreat. He is sifting out the hearts of men before his judgment seat. That's the 4th stanza from what song?
It's time.
The Battle Hymn of the Republic. I would have sang it, but that would have...
No.
Anyway. For 10 points. Months that contain a Friday the 13th will always begin...
Patrick, St. Joe?
I didn't.
Oh.
It was
Oh, I got you guys backwards here. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Fumbo, did you have an answer?
That was on Sunday.
That's a correct answer for 10 points. For 15 points, Pancho Villa massacred 18 American mining company engineers at Santa Isabel in January 1916 and sacked Columbus, New Mexico 2 months later. Woodrow Wilson sent General Pershing to pursue Villa in Mexico, but only with 12,000 strong force, not the 500,000-man army that had been demanded by the New Mexico senator, later a notorious Secretary of the Interior. Who was that man?
Camden, Berrien Springs.
Davy Crockett.
Incorrect.
St. Joe, 5 seconds.
Albert Fall.
Oh.
Yeah, he's famous. For 20 points, there are 2 versions of this Leonardo da Vinci painting. The first one, rejected as an altarpiece, now hangs in the Louvre. The second, which Leonardo dates from the same period as The Last Supper and the Mona Lisa, is found in London's National Gallery. The foreground of this painting features 2 women and 2 infants. Name it.
Time.
Madonna, the Virgin of the Rocks. For 5 points, in 1926, psychologist Carl Brigham created what test designed to identify students who would benefit most from higher education?
Fungbo, St. Joe.
SAT.
It's a correct answer for 5 points. For 15 points, Halley's Comet was last seen in 1986 and will be next visible in what year?
Fungbo, St. Joe.
2061.
Incorrect.
Berrien Springs. Christian.
2058.
2062. For 10 points, who was the first professional athlete to hit a major league home run and make a professional football touchdown in the same week? Hint.
Christian, Berrien Springs.
Bo Jackson.
Incorrect.
Finish it.
Hint. Deion Sanders was the second to do it in 1989, 72 years after the first athlete.
St. Joe. Trevor.
Babe Ruth.
Incorrect. It was Jim Thorpe, and the difference was during the same week. For 15 points, the angle formed between the lines pointing toward geographic north and magnetic north is called magnetic what?
Trevor, St. Joe.
Displacement.
Incorrect.
Berrien Springs. Joseph.
Declination.
That is a correct answer for 15 points. A math question for 15 points. Find all the zeros for the following function. X over 3 minus 3 over x.
Camden, Berrien Springs.
3 and -3.
It's a correct answer for 15 points. For 20 points, where did this highly publicized description of Richard Wagner appear? Eyes grayish, blue, nose and mouth proportioned, chin round, and wears spectacles.
Trevor, St. Joe.
Der Spiegel.
Incorrect.
Berrien Springs. Mari.
His biography?
Incorrect. It was on a warrant for Wagner's arrest sent out by the Dresden police after he participated in the Dresden Uprising of 1849. For 15 points, during his time, rumor had it that he sold his soul to the devil in order to play so well. Name this musician, generally regarded as the greatest violin virtuoso of all time.
Fungbo, St. Joe.
Paganini.
That is a correct answer for 15 points. For 10 points, the man who caused the imprisonment and death of at least 20 million people had set out to be a priest at age 14 after obtaining seminary scholarship. He was expelled 5 years later for his political activities and because he was repeatedly caught reading forbidden literature, including the books of Victor Hugo, Charles Darwin, and Karl Marx?
Patrick St. Joe.
Stalin.
It's a correct answer for 10 points. For 10 points, a flat, round hat with a tight headband, usually associated with the French, is called what?
Fungbo St. Joe.
Beret.
That is correct for 10 points. For 15 points, for 1,400 years, the Almagest was almost universally accepted as the foundation of astronomical science. Discussed in it were eclipses, the positions of the stars, and the mechanics of a geocentric system. Who wrote this tome for the 2nd century A.D.?
Fungbo St. Joe.
Ptolemy.
That's a correct answer for 15 points. Math question for 15 points. Add these three numbers. The number of humps on a Bactrian camel, the number of pairs of chromosomes in a normal human, and the number of black balls in billiards. Or the number on a black ball in billiards. Sorry.
Camden, Berrien Springs.
36.
Incorrect.
St. Joe. Fungbo.
33.
That's correct answer for 15 points. It was 2, 23, and 8. For 5 points, what did these women have in common? Catherine Parr, Catherine Howard, Anne of Cleves, Jane Seymour, Catherine of Aragon, and Anne Boleyn.
Fungbo St. Joe.
They got their heads cut off.
Incorrect.
Berrien Springs. Maury.
Wives of Henry VIII.
That is a correct answer for 5 points.
This will be the final question of the first round. Coming up.
All right.
Well, no, wait a minute. We got time for probably 2 more.
Okay. Right. For 20 points, which 17th century keyboard instrument may have been named for the maidens who played it?
Camden, Berrien Springs.
Celeste.
Incorrect.
St. Joe. Patrick.
Accordion.
Incorrect. Virginal. For 20 points,
This will be the final question of the first round.
Samuel Pepys' diary is a humorous and frank self-evaluation about life in London. When the book was written, who was on the throne?
Trevor, St. Joe.
King George III.
Incorrect.
Berrien Springs. Camden.
Queen Victoria.
Charles II.
That'll wrap up the first half of today's academic challenge. We'll be back with a score and the 62nd round after this on WSJM, the news and talk of Michigan's Great Southwest.
Well, I was going to say that.
Just a great program on PBS over the weekend about that.
I thought it was going to be like all Queens of England. But I thought I heard it. Yeah. I was like Queens of England. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I can't deal with this. All the competition warms me up.
I'm really mad. I missed that. Where's that? Where's that? Put that over.
Yeah.
23. I'm like, oh my god.
All right, everybody ready? Bring it back.
I don't even know how many.
Here we go. At the end of the first half, the score, St. Joe 80, Berrien Springs 35. And we move on to the 62nd round. Teams, you will have 3 categories to choose from. We'll give you 60 seconds to answer as many of the 10 questions as you can. Each is worth 10 points. There is a 20-point bonus if you answer all 10 within the time limit. You're encouraged to consult with one another at this point. The answers must come from the team captain. After the minute is up, the opposing team will have a chance to answer any of the questions the first team either passed on or could not answer. Berrien Springs, you're trailing at the moment. You'll have first choice of these categories, and they are Mystery, Finish the Verse, or Let's Party. What's your choice?
We'll take Finish the Verse.
They're going with Finish the Verse. We will put 60 seconds on the clock, and Bill, as soon as you start asking questions, we'll start the timer.
Okay, there's a lead in.
All right, after that then.
All right. Give the next line in these familiar quotations. Ready? Listen, my children, and you shall hear.
The word.
Incorrect. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care.
In hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there.
Correct. I think that I shall never see.
Pass.
No more from that cottage again will I roam.
It's no longer my home.
Incorrect. Here once the embattled farmer stood.
Pass.
Shoot, if you must, this old gray head.
I rather that I be dead.
Incorrect. He hath loosed the faithful lightning of his terrible swift sword.
And that is time. One correct answer for 10 points. St. Joe, you will now have 60 seconds to answer the questions that were either missed or passed on.
Again, we're going to give the next line of the familiar quotation. Listen, my children, and you shall hear.
Of the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere.
Correct. I think I shall never see.
Something as lovely as this tree.
More specific.
I don't know.
It's a poem as lovely as a tree.
Oh.
No more from that cottage again will I roam.
A place called home.
Close. Be it ever so humble, there's no place like home. Here, once the embattled farmer stood.
Near. Yeah, farming the fields as best as he could.
Good try. And fired the shot heard round the world. Lexington. Shoot, if you must, this old gray head.
Defer to him.
It needs to come from you, Trevor.
Oh, yeah, even if I would rather be dead.
But spare your country's flag, she said. He hath loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword.
I'm really bored.
His truth is marching on. If you'd have known the first question we asked about the ballad, it would have been the same.
I've got one correct. Do you?
10 points.
One correct for 10 points for St. Joe. All right. Now we'll switch gears here and shift it over to St. Joe. You have two choices left of our three categories, and they are mystery and let's party. St. Joe, your choice.
All right, let's party.
Let's party. 60 seconds when Bill begins.
Yep.
Okay, there's a lead in here also.
Okay.
History and literature are filled with tales of all sorts of parties.
And here we go.
During this biblical party, a king was terrified, and a young guest did some translating.
Yeah, the writing on the wall. The Passover, I think it is.
Incorrect. A king's lust for a dancing girl caused John the Baptist to be murdered.
Pass.
These fellows, wearing disguise, put tea into cold salt water instead of hot fresh water.
Boston Tea Party.
Correct. One guest was popped into a teapot every time he dozed off.
Great Gatsby's Party.
Incorrect. Masked, he attended a party to see his love. If recognized, his life was at stake.
Romeo and Juliet.
That's correct. These fellows, professional soldiers, should have known better than to get drunk, even though it was Christmas. As it turned out, they were all captured as a result.
Battle of Trenton.
That's a correct answer, the Hessians. Hurrying to get home on time, she lost something that didn't belong to her. As things turned out, she needn't have worried.
Cinderella's Ball.
That's correct. In what work of...
And
Should we
finish it?
them?
Yep.
In what work of literature does a wedding guest sit on a stone, spellbound by a graybeard loon?
I have no idea.
Is that a pass?
Yeah.
All right. 4 correct for St. Joe
40 points.
for 40 points. And we'll turn to Berrien Springs. You'll have a chance to answer those that were answered incorrectly or passed on by St. Joe. Bill, when you're ready.
Okay, history and literature are filled with tales of all sorts of parties. During this biblical party, a king was terrified, and a young guest did some translating.
Joseph in Egypt.
Belshazzar's feast. A king's lust for a dancing girl caused John the Baptist to be murdered.
Pass.
You can't pass in this round.
No answer.
It's Herod's birthday party or Salome's dance. One guest was popped into a teapot every time he dozed off.
The Mad Hatter's Party in Alice in Wonderland.
That's correct. In what work of literature does a wedding guest sit on a stone, spellbound by a graybeard loon?
The Song of Hiawatha.
Close. The Rime of the Ancient Mariner.
Yep.
That's it. 10
One
points.
correct for Berrien Springs for 10 points. And that wraps up the 62nd round. We'll take a break here, check the scores, and conclude the game next here on WSJM, the news and talk of Michigan's Great Southwest.
I should have taken mystery. That was the best category.
Who's in it?
It's all music.
That's exactly the same.
Every kind of they're different. Each one was a different type of music, but they weren't geared towards music. And then the last one was what they all have in common. Music. These are cool questions.
Were they about mysteries?
No,
It was just a mystery category.
just a mystery category. Yeah, I'll give you a couple examples here. Okay, this three-letter word means a light blow.
What
It's
do
on a
we-
door or across the knuckles.
Substitute.
A book of Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John.
Gospel.
A rural district or a nation. Country. A spicy sauce for tacos consisting of tomatoes, onions, and hot peppers. And then the last one, when you got them all right, what do they all have in common? Music. I thought that was the coolest category.
But we never take mystery.
You don't take mystery unless everything else is bad.
I consider both.
Everything else was bad. Everything else
was
bad.
We didn't know that at the time.
I figured
What were
finish
you
the verse
expecting
would
on
be
a
like a
verse?
song verse.
Yeah, I was
Well,
hoping it'd be like, but
Yeah.
I was still irritated because right after the
Listen, the other choice I had one other category I could have used, and it was find X in all these math quotations, and 10 math questions. So I
good
figured
luck on that
that's
one,
probably
huh?
not a good one.
We had to do that.
All right, people, let's bring this back and we'll conclude this beast, huh? Here we go. The score at the end of the 62nd round: St. Joe 130, Berrien Springs 55, and it is time now to find out a little bit about what's happening at each of our participating schools. We'll start with St. Joe. Captain Trevor.
Good evening from the studios of WSJM. Our robotics team is hosting a competition at our high school this weekend, and so we'd like to wish the average Joes good luck at that competition. And congratulations to our track team for doing extremely well in their first meet. Orchestra did extremely well at the Solo and Ensemble Festival in Granville, Michigan last weekend. And good luck to all our spring sports as they start up. And we're all looking forward to spring break next week. And we'd also like to thank our sponsors for their continued support throughout the whole season.
Thank you, Trevor. From Berrien Springs, Camden, are you handing it off here?
I'm handing it off to my fellow teammate Mari.
The lovely Mari, when you're ready. Some last-minute additions there, apparently. It's all right. We can wait and edit.
Okay. Greetings from Berrien Springs High School. Spring conferences will be held on March 26th and 27th, with a half-day Thursday and Friday to kick off our spring break. Yes, we are praying for the weather to warm up. Spring sports are underway, and we eagerly await the start of the season. Congratulations to Ashley McCoy on her 5th place finish at the State Business Professionals of America competition in keyboarding production, as well as myself for finishing in 5th in extemporaneous speech. Ashley has qualified for the national competition, which is held in April in Indianapolis, Indiana. The regional robotics competition will be held on March 28th and 29th at St. Joseph High School, so good luck to the Green-Gineers. Big news at Berrien Springs. Plans are underway for the Project Lead the Way program to begin next year at the high school. This is a science engineering-based program, and we are excited to offer this opportunity to the Berrien Springs students. Our sympathy also goes out to the family of Ted Cundiff, who recently died this weekend. We would like to thank the radio stations of WSJM FM 94.9 and AM 1400 and their sponsors Chemical Bank, Lake Michigan College, Southwestern Michigan College, and Western Michigan University Southwest for sponsoring this event.
Thank you, Maury. We have one substitution as well. Sir, if you'd step up to the microphone and identify yourselves from Berrien Springs.
I am Corey Buchholz.
Corey Buchholz, welcome to the competition. Let us begin the second half of today's academic challenge, the championship match in our single elimination tournament here as we wrap up academic challenge. When you are ready, Mr. Klein.
Okay, this is kind of a math question for 10 points. Write down the year of Arthur Clarke's first space odyssey, subtract the number of Dalmatians in the Disney film, multiply the difference by the slaughterhouse number in the Kurt Vonnegut novel. And what's the answer?
Christian, Berrien Springs.
9,500.
That is correct for 10 points. Good job. For 20 points, name the areas of the body in which the adenoids and adrenal glands may be found. Be specific.
Patrick, St. Joe.
Kidneys.
Well, it's not. You need to be specific.
Christian, Berrien Springs.
Above the kidneys.
The adenoids are in the throat. The adenoids. The adenoids are in the throat. The adrenals are in the top of the kidneys.
Okay. You're kind of half right.
Okay, for 10 points. Which two states have legalized the recreational use of marijuana?
Christian, Berrien Springs.
Washington and Colorado.
That's a correct answer for 10 points.
Quick on the draw there.
We have to investigate that one. For 5 points. Rather than hitting the bullseye with holiday shopping, it suffered a setback as millions of its customers' credit card information was...
Christian, Berrien Springs.
Target.
That's a correct answer for 5 points. For 10 points. What country won the most medals in the Sochi Olympics?
Maury, Berrien Springs.
Russia.
Correct answer for 10 points. For 10 points. What company has reached an agreement to acquire Time Warner Cable?
Christian, Berrien Springs.
Comcast.
That's correct for 10 points. For 15 points. The frenzy to acquire fast-growing technology startups reached new heights on February 19th as Facebook announced its largest acquisition ever, saying it would pay at least $16 billion.
Trevor, St. Joe.
Instagram.
Incorrect. For what text messaging application?
Camden, Berrien Springs.
Kick.
Yeah, what's up? Or WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
For 10 points. Joaquin Guzman Loera was captured in Mexico on February 22nd. He was one of the world's most wanted what?
Patrick, St. Joe.
Drug lords.
That's a correct answer for 10 points. For 10 points, Nicolas Maduro recently invited President Obama to join him in joint talks intended to resolve disputes between the two countries. Maduro is president of what country?
Maury, Berrien Springs.
Venezuela.
It's correct for 10 points. For 10 points, whose recent White House visit sparked protest from the Chinese government?
Time?
The Dalai Lama. For 15 points, Secretary General Ban Ki-moon hailed former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg's efforts on what issue, adding that his leadership will be vital for an upcoming summit?
Trevor, St. Joe.
Gun control.
Incorrect.
Berrien Springs. Maury.
Gay marriage.
Incorrect. The environment. For 15 points, it is projected to lift almost 1 million Americans out of poverty, but it could also cost 500,000 jobs. What am I talking about?
Funbo, St. Joe.
Raising the minimum wage.
That is correct for 15 points. For 5 points, it's too long. A math question for 5 points. If you're selecting a 3-course meal from a menu that offers 4 appetizers, 7 entrees, and 3 desserts, how many different meals can you order?
Funbo, St. Joe.
84.
That's correct for 5 points. For 10 points, when asked what she wanted to be put on her tombstone, Elizabeth Taylor replied, "Here lies Elizabeth. She hated to be called what?"
Mari, Berrien Springs.
Liz.
That's correct for 10 points. For 15 points, it's been called too thick to drink and too thin to plow. William Jennings Bryant was known as the boy orator of which tributary of the Missouri River?
Fung Bo, St. Joe.
The Platte.
That's correct for 15 points. For 5 points, the NFL rules state that only one player at a time may run parallel to the line to confuse the defense, a maneuver known as what?
Christian, Berrien Springs.
Shifting.
Incorrect.
Fumbo, St. Joe.
Lateral.
Incorrect. It's going in motion. For 20 points, Jacob's wife Rachel died giving birth to whom?
Camden, Berrien Springs.
Joseph.
Incorrect.
St. Joe, 5 seconds. Trevor.
Seth.
Benjamin, the baby. For 15 points, complete this Sir Walter Scott quotation with the name of a month. Blank's sky is chill and dear and drear. Blank's leaf is red and sere.
Camden, Berrien Springs.
November.
It's correct for 15 points. For 5 points, located in northern Virginia between the Allegheny and Blue Ridge Mountains, it was a strategic Confederate stronghold during the Civil War. What valley am I talking about?
Fung Bo, St. Joe.
The Willamette.
Incorrect.
Berrien Springs, 5 seconds.
The Shenandoah. A math question for 10 points. Find the radius of the base of a cone with a height of 9 inches and a volume of 48 pi cubic inches.
And it's time.
4 inches. For 20 points, Olympic Creed. The most important thing in the Olympic Games is not to win, but to take part. Just as the most important thing in life is not the triumph, but the blank.
Julia, St. Joe.
Journey.
Incorrect.
Camden, Berrien Springs.
Experience.
Struggle. For 15 points, what did the psalmist say to the children of Israel? What did the psalmist say the children of Israel did by the rivers of Babylon?
Fung Bo, St. Joe.
Cleanse themselves.
Incorrect.
Mari, Berrien Springs.
Cleaned themselves.
Sat down and wept. For 15 points, a math question. What's the smallest integer greater than 1 that's not only a perfect square but also a perfect cube?
Fung Bo, St. Joe.
36.
Incorrect.
Berrien Springs. Corey.
64.
That is correct for 15 points. For 10 points, the U.S. won 28 overall medals in the Sochi Games, which put them in what place overall?
Fung Bo, St. Joe.
Second place.
That's correct for 10 points. For 5 points, in the 3 years since President Obama began the White House online petition program, the second most signatures have been to deport blank.
Christian, Berrien Springs.
Justin Bieber.
That's a correct answer for 5 points. For 5 points, he wasn't the first freshman, he was the second. And in fact, he was the second freshman quarterback to win in 2 years. He is the youngest, however. Name this Florida State.
Christian, Berrien Springs.
Jameis Winston.
That's correct for 5 points. For 5 points, 2 films from 2013 got 10 Oscar nominations apiece. Name either one of them.
Camden, Berrien Springs.
American Hustle.
That is correct. You know what the other one is?
12 Years a Slave.
Gravity. For 10 points, who were those 2 men sitting behind the president during the State of his Union address?
Trevor, St. Joe.
John Boehner and Joe Biden.
That's correct for 10 points. For 5 points, Nicolas Sarkozy is contemplating a comeback to what country's presidency?
Fungbo.
France.
It's correct for 5 points. For 5 points, what country's Shin Bet intelligence agency arrested 3 Palestinians, foiling a suicide plot on the U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv?
Fungbo, St. Joe.
Israel.
That is correct for 5 points. For 15 points, former Governor Bob McDonnell was indicted, charged with taking thousands of dollars worth of gifts from billionaire donors. Of what state was he the governor?
Trevor, St. Joe.
New York.
Incorrect.
Berrien Springs. 5 seconds. Mari.
Massachusetts.
Virginia. For 5 points, Hassan Rouhani has urged the rest of the world to stop treating his country as a pariah state. He is president of what country?
Christian, Berrien Springs.
South Sudan.
Incorrect.
St. Joe, 5 seconds. Trevor.
Nairobi.
Iran.
One final question.
For 10 points, what country is having violent protests against their hosting?
Camden, Berrien Springs.
Venezuela.
Incorrect.
Finish it.
Hosting of the World Cup to be held later this year.
Fungbo, St. Joe.
Brazil.
That is correct for 10 points.
For 10 points. All right, folks, that does it.
Good job.
That'll wrap up
guys.
today's academic challenge
great
match. We'll
comeback.
tabulate the scores and announce our tournament champion after this on WSJM, the news and talk of Michigan's Great Southwest.
You guys came back strong.
Yeah, that was a good, strong second
Good,
half.
strong second.
Yeah, I think they put
See, I still had 7 pages, 5 pages of questions.
All right, everybody ready? Let's bring it back. There we go. And we are back on WSJM's Academic Challenge to announce today's winner and tournament champion and to thank our sponsors and our champion by a score of 215 to 165. The team from St. Joe. How about a nice hand for the gang from St. Joe? And an equally strong hand for the good people from Berrien Springs.
Great comeback.
Great second half.
Great job. in that second half.
Congratulations to one and all. Thank you for joining us on WSJM's Academic Challenge, brought to you by Southwestern Michigan College, Lake Michigan College, Western Michigan University Southwest, and by Chemical Bank. That wraps up the tournament. We'll be back and do it all over again next year here on WSJM. All right, people, thank you.